Welcome to Chana Talks Live TV. I'm Chana Gilman, your relationship mastery mentor. I went to do a video by my pool, but as you can imagine, it is packed. So I just moved inside to the conference room. Here's what I want to talk about. Somebody asked me to give them something on Friday at a meeting we're going to have. So I had to go into my storage room to find it. And in my storage room, I found boxes. Hi, Eve. I found boxes of old journals that I wrote. Daily writings for years. For years. Do you journal? Is it something you've ever experienced with yourself? You know, I was so wound up emotionally that I was known as the crier. I remember asking a boss in Israel for a raise and cried through it. I couldn't articulate a sense of worthiness without tearing up. Everybody can cry at a sad movie or be touched in happiness, but I was the crier. And the more I was wound up emotionally and could not articulate myself, the more the tears were there. And I realized today it was absolute frustration. Anyway, I discovered journaling, and I want to say that for many years it served me. And I often couldn't wait to get to it. Sometimes I journaled 2 and 3 times a day. Whenever I traveled, I always took a journal, and I always had these like round up thick 8 by 11 pages, and they're just packed full. I moved back from Israel, and about 4 years ago, I remember in one of the programs I bought and trying to do my personal development work, I took these journals and I went and sat at a lovely outdoor cafe area, and I took a lot of little sticky notes. And I started reading through a certain phase of time in my journals. By the way, if you do any writing, be sure and date it with the year as well. Because when you look back, you're going to want to see when that was, because you often don't remember. So I sat at this cafe for hours one day, and I just reread my journals. And what was the point? The point was to finally understand that I have a map of thinking, the map of my mind. You have it also, but I never understood that. I always just thought, well, if I think it, it's how it is, and if I'm triggered, I'm angry, and if I'm not triggered, so I'm not triggered, and just never understanding any consciousness, any deliberateness to my thoughts. So I sat there and I read these journals. I had armfuls. And I put sticky notes when I noticed threads to my thinking. And then I wrote on some of these sticky notes, this is for the book, because what have I learned? I learned through journaling to untangle my emotions. I learned that I'm very articulate and a good writer. I learned that it helped me diffuse inner buildup in myself. And that was then. That was 4 years ago. And I've kept these journals. Now, as I've moved along, and in the last year and a half, I hardly journal at all. Then I began to journal once or twice a month. And I just looked before I came down to do this video. My last journal entry was April 5th of this year. I have no idea what it was. I didn't read it. I have no desire to journal today. None. There's nothing to journal about. Most of journaling is to clear the emotional buildup, to get an understanding, to come to depth. And it did help me all those years. If you're new to it and you're in the beginning of a personal development process, I encourage it. But once you do the work and you align inside, there's nothing to talk about. I have a client, well, I had a client, she was a client a while ago. She wrote that she used to tell me how she journaled all the time and that she found it helpful. And I often give clients journaling exercises. But she journaled as her marriage was spinning out of control. And she shared with me an entry that had been about 5 years prior to when we were talking, about something that happened between her and her husband, another fight, another go-around. And she wrote in her journal the depth of anger she had toward him and how if she could, she would kill him. Now, that journal entry was 5 years prior to her reading it to me. She then read another journal entry that was 3 years later, and she journaled daily, if not more. The journal entry 3 years later was, we had another fight. It read almost exactly as the fight 5 years earlier, 3 years prior. And she said, the only difference, she wrote this, the only difference today is that I don't need to kill him. Beautiful women, that could sum up my life. I'm sure it could sum up yours. Years of journaling, the same thing, over and over and over again, with no basic movement. When I reread my journal, I had big ahas like, oh, I got that. Isn't that cool? And we never finish, new level, new devil. So if you think you've had a major breakthrough, you probably have. But now that high point is going to be the low point of the next growth. So it's going to constantly, I always say our inner world is like galaxies. It doesn't end. As long as we're in this world, it doesn't end. What is my point? Journaling is a tremendous tool, but it is often regurgitation. And I don't need it today. My clients don't need it today. You won't need it today. Reread your journal entries. What are you writing about? Is it the constant same themes over and over and over again? It's normal. I was there. But I'm telling you that when you do the work and the alignment comes, there's nothing to write about anymore. There's nothing. How much can you just say yay? You've got to celebrate. But I have not had a desire since April 5th, today's June 12th, I think, to pick up my journal and put a pen to paper. Not one. Because today I'm simply living my life. Do I have ups and downs? Absolutely. But they're not taking me out of the game. It's a bump in the road. But you'll say to me, but Hannah, don't I have to explain why I feel this way? I need everyone to understand where I'm coming from. Really? I used to, but you really don't. When women want to tell me, but you need to understand me, I get you. And you get you too. It's like that red light that comes on in your car telling you you need gas. It's a warning light. When you're off emotionally, your emotions are there to tell you something. If you're emotionally tanked, you feel down, you're on the right side of the emotional chart, below 50% in your emotions. If you're in my group, you get what I'm telling you. That's not a time to do anything. Pick yourself back up emotionally, get back to the left side, above 50%, and then take any actions. Your emotions are the red light in your car. You're not going to pull into the car dealership and say the red light came on for the 1027th time to tell me I need gas and I don't understand what that light is about. How does it work? What is it telling me? What should I do about it? He's going to think you're crazy. Go get gas, get rid of the light. And I'm telling you, it's that simple too. Your emotions are telling you something, good or bad. How do you know the results in your life, if you like them or not? First of all, look at what's in your life. Do you like it? Do you like the house you live in, the job you have, the way your relationship is with your kids, your spouse, your boyfriend? And how do you feel? That's all you need to know. If it doesn't feel good, it isn't good. Let's fix it. I am totally oversimplifying, but I am totally telling you the truth. There is no need to regurgitate and to understand why the red light keeps coming on that tells you you need gas. Why do you keep getting nervous when the guy likes you? Why do you always feel triggered when your husband tells you, you think you've done so much, but you haven't changed, you're the same? Why do you feel triggered when the kid is chutzpah, not respectful in how they talk to you? Let's unpack that. So, does journaling work? It worked for me for years. But you know what? I don't need it anymore. I'm considering throwing them out. It's pure regurgitation. At this side, when I went into it, it was helpful and beneficial. And if you feel it's serving you, do not stop. But this is what's possible. And years of journaling, in my client's example, 3 years, the same fight with her husband. The only difference was she didn't feel the need to kill him. She just was handling the fights differently. Was that movement? Yes. Does it need to be so slow? Absolutely not. Join my private Facebook group, Relationship Mastery with Confidence and Dignity. And I'm realizing that I'm not seeing anybody watching these videos. No names or anybody is coming on. So if any of you that are watching this know what I should press or I should do, please type it and tell me so I can get you all back. My name is Chana Gilman. I am your Relationship Mastery Mentor, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.